Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Gamers Lounge podcast. My name is John Meadows. With me as always is Eric, Nathaniel, and Robert. What's going on, fellas?
Not too much.
Another day in paradise.
Yeah. My timer wasn't too far behind today. Just a little bit behind, but not too bad.
Man, I should have worn my Gamers Lounge shirt. Then we could.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't think about it.
Oh well, that's okay.
I settled with Mickey Mouse.
Well, you know what? Mickey Mouse is okay to go with. I mean, you know, there could be worse things. Worse things than
a lot in common with Disney, you know.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, that's it. Now they're going to shut us down. You just said Disney. That's it. It's over.
Coming after us.
Cease and assist letters coming this way. That's exactly what's going to happen. Way to go. Thanks a lot.
You said the word. Now they can find us.
Jeez.
They heard their name.
Yeah. That's all it takes. It's all it takes is just one little thing, and they come get you. They come find you. So
waiting for our buyout letter.
Hey, that's fine. Yeah. I have a feeling, though, it wouldn't be very much. It would be very... That's just...
Disney would be like, I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, and that'd be probably about it, is they would buy that for about $1, and that'd be about all. So, we'll make sure. Didn't look and see if everything was going all right. Looks like it is. We're trying something new with the live stream. If you ever join us, we're doing it where we're streaming from all different things at all different times, and I got the chat in there, and it looks really... I don't know. It looks really weird. I don't like it, but it's something that I'll work on. At any rate, so it's
figuring it out.
Yeah, it's something unimportant that nobody else has to worry about except me. That's the only. It's the only person that's got to worry about it. But we're not here to talk about semantics and stuff like that. We're here to talk about games. We didn't have a show this weekend like we usually do. I was actually at a gaming conference in Columbus, so I. Ended up being a little bit behind on things, but we thought, well, instead of waiting till the weekend, we'll go ahead and do a show today. But, you know, that's okay. It's Tuesday night. It's all right. It's like we used to do it at this time back in the day, a long time ago. We used to do them during the middle of the week.
Tuesdays are the new Fridays, so we're good.
I wish it was the new Friday. That means the weekend would be here. That'd be awesome.
I thought Fridays were the new Tuesdays.
Somebody correct us in the chat.
At least for video game releases, because the last several big ones have all been on Fridays.
Yeah, it's weird how they're trying to. Some people are trying to change that.
It's weird because that's the way it is pretty much everywhere, but here, for whatever reason, in the past, all the media started coming out on Tuesday, so games follow suit, and then
yeah, I don't know.
Now it doesn't matter. Nintendo put it out on one day. Everybody else will put it on other days. They're just
put it out whenever you want to put it out. Who cares?
Spread out the love, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what is?
Friday's better though, because then you can pick it up and then play it all over the weekend. Where you get it a Tuesday night, you're like, yeah, this is really great. Oh well.
Yeah.
You know, Nathaniel, as it turns out, not all of us have the weekends off.
Well, you know, most people have that type of schedule, right? Whether you're at school or working. Now, there are people who have different schedules for sure, but large large portion of people's like, okay, if you're looking at your market, the biggest portion would be having the weekend for, free.
Yeah, I mean, now I could say that.
Way
now.
more than like, a Wednesday after a Tuesday.
Yeah, I used to have to work weekends all the time, so me being off on weekends is still something.
Totally depends on what job you're in and all that. But.
It's just a different day for a different weekend. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because your weekend doesn't have to be Saturday, Sunday. It can be Tuesday, Wednesday,
Can my weekend be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday?
Yeah, that'd be all right.
That'd be a pretty sweet, pretty good schedule. Let me know when that job works out for you.
Yeah, really. Let me know what the pay is, and I guess you could be
$1 million a day.
Yeah,
Million.
yeah, $1 million a day. Yeah, that's about what it would be, and right. Mm-hmm.
And I only have to work the job for a week.
Yeah, 1 week.
Be good for quite a while.
1 week, and then I can retire.
Yeah, that would be the life. But
a life of some.
Yeah,
How do you find this job?
Yeah, really. What is this job? Where can I find it? I would like to know more about your product. I would like to subscribe to your newsletter.
Please tell me more.
Yeah. But anyway, let's talk about what we've been playing. Nathaniel, why don't you go first? I'm going to save mine for last because it's a lot of the GDEX stuff, so I'm just going to roll it all into one.
I got the big list this time.
I know, but I see you've been playing Forza Horizon. Did you buy that, or did you do the Game Pass?
No, I bought it. Screw the Game Pass.
Gotcha.
Now. I could have. I actually bought one of these this week because I needed a new controller. A nice blue Xbox One controller for my PC.
Pretty.
But it comes with a 14-day trial for Game Pass. I just hadn't done it yet. But I was like, I know I want Forza. Don't want to just have it go away after Game Pass would go away, because eventually at some point, I would just not want to pay for it, and there's not enough things on there. So I was just like, I'll just go ahead and buy it, because I'm not in a position where I'd have to go, well, it's cheaper this way, but
Yeah.
Full price, I'll do it. It's worth it, because I played the demo. They put up a pretty lengthy free demo for it.
Yeah, they did.
Something? I don't remember. I just played it over the weekend. And I was like, yes, I will get this game because it is gorgeous. Especially on my expensive PC. It is very, very nice looking.
Yeah, I bet.
I can pretty much
there's ever been a bad one.
I can pretty much max it out, and it runs at like 100-something frames a second still. And since I have my high refresh monitor, I get all of those.
Yeah.
And it's very fun. It's a very fun game.
I downloaded it, because I have Game Pass, so I downloaded it to the Xbox, but I have not played it yet. I can download it to the PC as well, so I need to download it on the PC and see how well it runs on the PC.
So it starts you out to show you the new, I guess, gimmick or whatever you want to call it for this game of the seasons. So you play like a quick intro thing where you're like, hey, it's summer, it's fall, it's winter, it's spring, woo, okay, now you're at the festival. I played through that section 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Because on the demo, I played it for a bit, and then I had to quit the demo or something, I forget what it was, and then it doesn't save in there for whatever reason, because I gotten well past that. And then I had to play it again when I started the demo again. It's like, oh, whatever, I'll play it. I did worse the second time around. And then when I bought the game today, I had to play through it again, because it's basically just the start of the game.
Right.
The demo let you do like a few races and drive around on the map. I don't know. I played it for a while and didn't get to, quote, the end of it. So it was a pretty extensive one that would definitely let you get a feel for how it plays. Or, what's in there. So I played kind of half and half tonight for a few hours of some races, and then just running around in the open world, destroying things because I keep running off the road. But hey, that means I get cool bonuses for that, because you get skills for destroying things. But it totally depends on what car you're driving too, because they definitely handle differently.
Right.
I got a few weird ones. I've got like a 3-wheeled car from like the 70s. I forget what it was, but I was like, I'll try that later. I'll stick with my Subaru for now.
Yeah.
Because I have enough troubles with that, let alone whatever that car's going to handle like. But let's see. I've done not even all the event types yet, because I got through kind of the first part of the game is like, here's this event, here's this type of thing, and then they kind of give you more to do as it spreads out. I do like, and I haven't played the previous one, so I'm assuming they might have done this, but on the map, whenever you drive a road, it fills it in. So like your map is all like darker colored, and then as you drive over it, it gets brighter so that you know the parts that you've actually driven on. You can easily tell.
I played the last one. I want to say it did that. It's been a while since I played it though, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, it seems like something that's probably been in there before.
Yeah.
But it's something that's like, oh, hey, that's pretty neat. Now I know which ones I could have to go back to if I'm trying to drive on every single road, because that's one of the things you could do. I think I've done like 100 out of 500 something roads. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's huge.
So there's all sorts of stuff. I think new to this one is also you actually have a person that you can customize, like an actual like human character.
Yeah.
That you see outside of the car sometimes in cutscenes and things.
Oh, that's different. They didn't have
or
that
like
last time,
at the end of the race, it goes to this cool different kind of white, kind of like in the Matrix when they bring in all the guns in the white expanse room. It's not really a room, but it's kind of like that, where it has like big giant video screens and stuff, and your characters are out there standing next to the car. So I'm like, yay, I got first place, or oh, I got third place, or whatever. You know, you finish, and then it's like all the progress XP bars of here's all your credits you won, here's all your influence points, here's this and this ticking up, and all sorts of fancy things just exploding to make it, oh, look, I did something cool.
Right.
So you see your characters there, and in some of the cutscenes, there's some like stunt driver story mode that I've started, where you have a few different just random dumb stunt car things that you do, like go off this ramp that's underneath a what was it underneath? Like a windmill. Yeah, it was a windmill. Then there's one where you're driving up the coast in an old sports car and trying not to damage it, and that one sucked because I was driving too fast and I hit like a tree and had to start over. And then I hit like a car and had to start over. I was like, ah! I can't drive this thing because it's got front wheel drive and I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it so bad.
There's another one where you're just trying to do a bunch of build a skill chain and get as much of points and meet like a certain number of points within a given amount of time, where you're driving around this little village and they've got in the Hall of the Mountain King playing. That song. And that's my favorite one of the stunt cars so far, because it was like, I did terrible at it for some reason. I got past the first points, but apparently to get all 3 stars, you had to do something more than that. Whatever, I'll come back later because it's fun. I don't care. Because it's basically, hey, destroy things is what they're telling you to do when you're driving through this village. But yeah, I'm really liking all the different open world stuff in there too. Like, here's all sorts of these little signs that you have to smash, and here's some speed cameras that you have to drive by, or, you know, just all those little random things that they throw in there.
Yeah.
And you can see, I think this is also new for this one, I could be wrong, where you actually are online when you're playing in single player, and instead of drivatars, you have actual people driving around.
Yeah.
And then you can initiate events and things. So I'm not sure how many people are on a map at once, but you have kind of like a session with a bunch of people. You can quick chat, or you can even have voice chat on. You can unlock like quick chat options are some of the things that you unlock in the game. You unlock like outfits for your character. You unlock, you know, cars, whatever. There's all sorts of crazy stuff to get in this game.
Yeah, the way it was on the last one, it's just like it is on Forza. When you're racing a race, the cars are actually like people off your gamer tag list, and it uses their
yeah, that's the drivatar.
Yeah,
which they still have those in this game.
Drivatar.
Offline and kind of like in the first parts of the game. But once you get to a certain point, when you're just in the open world map, there's actual people driving around.
Yes.
And then when you initiate an event, you can choose to play it solo, co-op, or competitive. And if you do that, then it's like, hey, so-and-so has started an event, and you can go join them if you want to. Or there's like a button, I think you can look for that stuff as well if you want to see, rather than waiting for like a thing to pop up. So Yeah, there's all like tons and tons of things. There's something in there that was like adventures that I haven't even done. I just saw it in the menu. I was like, I don't know what this is, and I don't have time to check it out now. I'll do it next time I play. Because it's time to go record a podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I was just like wanting something else to play, and I haven't played a racing game in a long time. And like, ooh, I'll try the demo, and if I like it, I'll buy it because that'll give me something to play for October until Red Dead comes out.
Yeah. I like Forza Horizon series. Okay, I'm more of a regular Forza fan. No, I'm more of a regular Forza fan. But
I know I'm the opposite, even though I've not played any of those games. I played the demo of the first Horizon, I think, and that's all I've really played of the Forza games.
Yeah,
just because I haven't had an Xbox to play them on.
Yeah, I always like the more realistic, tune my car and do that's.
They still
I
have
really
tuning
like that
your
stuff.
car. And
oh yeah, they do.
There, but
I never was
around a track so many times.
Yeah, see, that doesn't bother me. The open world stuff is kind of like sometimes it gets overwhelming to me because there's so much to do in the car, and it's just like, I'd rather have. I know I got to win this race and do this, and I do a circuit and do a series and do this and that. Which is
the thing about this game is you could just do that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do any of the open world stuff. You could just go specifically to the events,
right,
and just do those. But as someone who loves Burnout Paradise is my favorite racing game of all time, I definitely lean way more towards arcadey and open world stuff.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like
I'm more of the
open world for sure. And then it's kind of like back on the it's not as arcadey as what a Burnout game would be.
Right.
Still really fun to drive. I'm just if there's a corner coming up, I'll probably overrun it. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to use brakes. I'm still not used to that yet.
Oh, you don't have drive assistant on, so it just does it automatically for you?
I have some of the assist, but not that. I have to actually initiate the brakes for it. I have like ABS or whatever on.
Yeah.
I turned off rewind because I'll never use it, and so I get bonus influence or whatever for that. I think I'm at like my difficulty has like 45% extra is what it's set at now, so I have it kind of maybe medium difficulty.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I did it kind of custom. I didn't use one of the presets. There's so many settings. And
oh, yeah, that thing.
There's like so many menus.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
The fun thing, though, is they have like, I'm sure this is also for previous ones. It's like My Horizon Life or something where you track every single thing like ranks up. So your exploration ranks up, your skill level ranks up, your type, dirt racing ranks up separate from street racing, which is separate from road racing. All those level up at like separately, and you get rewards every time that you level one of those things up. And there's probably like a couple dozen of these things because there's like rewards for customizing your car with decals and all this different stuff.
Right.
Taking photos in photo mode all gives you XP, even though they don't call it XP. And then each level gets you different things like, hey, spin the wheel to get a prize or get some credits. So there's always feeding you things as you play through the game.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just to encourage you, hey, play all these different things. You've got plenty to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's tons of stuff to do in it. I mean, I've never... it blows my mind how much there is to do in that game, really. But I mean, I like them all right. I prefer the other. I prefer regular Forza better. That's just me, though. I mean, everybody has.
I don't like tracks, man.
I love
tracks
like them
sometimes, but that's what I like about Burnout Paradise is that there are no tracks. You go start here, you have to get there. Drive. As long as you get there faster than everybody else, then you win. And I really, really like that about that game and some of the other games that have done that since then.
Yeah.
And there's not really that in this game. They have kind of like point-to-point races, but you still have checkpoints along the way. And then they have had some circuit races that have done on like dirt tracks. But I haven't done a ton of the events yet, just a few different ones.
Right.
But I've only played it maybe 2 hours-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'll play it for a little while tomorrow at some point. Hopefully. Maybe.
Yeah.
I got time.
I've been on a finishing story mode kick since the last podcast. So I finished Spider-Man's story, and And then after that, I finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider story, and I finished Assassin's Creed Origins story because I knew I only had like a couple hours of that left based on where I'd finished it.
You're
So
flying.
well, I've already played a ton of Origins before, and from checking in, because I was like, I wonder how much I have left. Okay, I bet it's about this much, knowing from where I was in the story. And even without looking that up, I was kind of like, well, I know that I'm getting pretty deep into it for sure, because
I have no idea how far I am in that game. I can't tell.
What?
and
It's-
so
even
many
though I
missions.
finished the story in Origins, I still have probably I've only maybe got slightly over half of the map revealed.
Oh,
Because the map doesn't, like, the regions don't show up until you walk into them, and then hey, you can see all of it. I still have some grayed out areas on that map for sure, because it's huge and the story doesn't take you to all of them. And if I wanted to, I could get the DLC in that game and I could go and do the other side quest things that are all throughout there. There's still a ton of content in that game that I could do if I wanted to, but the main story quest is now done for Assassin's Creed Origins, and I played it like I think 50 hours now.
yeah.
So I've played plenty of that game.
You know, I started it. I really like it, and I started it, and then I don't know, something else took my attention away. I don't remember what it was. So
Got distracted by other games. It's all
yeah,
good.
it always
happens to
does. It always happens that way.
Like, look at the shiny object over here. Ooh, a cookie.
Yeah, which is why I'm not in a big hurry to get Odyssey. As much as it looks cool and I really like it, I'm not in a big hurry to get it. Plus,
Honestly, they were working on it at the same time as Origins, and they've made some smart changes to it from what I've looked at. I was like, oh, that would have been nice to have in Origins. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's cool too. Just like a bunch of small things about it that's like, oh, that's nice. Like, I really want to try the exploration mode in that they've added, where it doesn't just automatically add icons to your map. It sort of gives you a general direction for a quest. So you don't just have, if you don't want to, you can have it do it the regular traditional way too. But it's like, hey, it's somewhere about here south of this island, and then you have to go find it.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure flying your eagle around would make that pretty easy. But it seems somewhere like halfway between Ubisoft's normal map spam and then Breath of the Wild, somewhere in between there is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
From the description of it I've read.
That's kind of the
I
impression.
really want to play it. I don't know if I'm going to hold off, if I can hold off or not.
He's like, no. I
I know
watching
I
the
can.
video of it, the Spartan kick move has the best sound effect. It's really, really cool. And like, I've watched like of the couple like videos and streams that I watched for a few minutes of. Everyone's like, "Hey, I'm kicking people off cliffs. It's fun."
Well, of course, yeah. Why wouldn't it be fun?
Yeah.
It'd be very fun to kick people off ledges.
And apparently, like especially early game, it's very, very powerful. So I'm like, all right, well, when I play that, I know what I'm getting first off.
Right.
Because they've changed how the like upgrade system works in there too. So you have like 3 different skill trees based on like assassin, warrior, and something else. So I really want to try that one out.
Yeah.
Let's see. I bought Dust and Elysian Tale after you had gotten it last time we recorded, I think, or whatever. I was like, I remember this game, so I played through the first bit, and I was like, I remember all this, and then I passed where I had apparently gotten before. I'm like, all right, new stuff, sweet. I don't know. It's kind of fun. The combat is mostly, hey, I will like use my little partner to throw some little like bloops into the air, and then I'll use my whirlwind to make them fly around in a giant storm and get a bunch of combo points. Except, hey, if you do that in the air, it doesn't hurt you as much, and you can fly all the way around.
Right,
and you crazy
just
stuff, and you just barely can keep track of what you're doing on screen. It's just like all this stuff flying around everywhere all at the same time.
Yeah, and it surprisingly doesn't have. I've only got slowdown one time on the Switch doing that, and that was when it was in a really heavily like wooded area, and I did that.
It doesn't surprise me too much because I mean it is an older game. It was 360 and I think it was on PS3. I don't remember.
I want to say it was. I don't remember
I
either.
had it on 360 where I had it. But yeah, so Switch can handle it just fine. It looks pretty good in handheld and on TV screen both.
Yeah, it really does.
But yeah, I'm not sure where I left off on that game, but I'll probably go back and finish it at some point because I don't think it's very long.
No, I don't think it is
Comparatively.
either. I think it's maybe less.
Especially based on the percentage that I had when I finished. Like, oh wow, I really haven't been playing that long, and I'm already like almost halfway through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got a fun art style. The characters can get a little annoying, so you might skip through some of the dialogue if it bugs you. And sometimes they're very, very meta, tongue-in-cheek about like, "Hey, save your game, wink, wink. You're in
Yeah.
a video game. Hi, guys.
Yeah, it's like, I
We're
save my
talking to
game.
the camera now."
I save my game often as I can.
So yeah, that game's pretty fun. If you got a Switch, it's definitely worth looking into.
Oh yeah, it is. It's totally worth looking into. It's awesome.
Yeah, Spider-Man. I finished the story.
Spider-Man.
It made me cry at the end. I was like,
Whoa,
"Dang it!
that's
Why
intense.
did you do this to me, Spider-Man? You're supposed to just be a fun Spider-Man game."
Don't spoil anything. I just started it.
It's great for like the first bit is all like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man tone, so it's all like happy and the city's all sunshiny, and then there's a turning point in the story where like, oh hey, now all the villains are doing all the crazy stuff, so it's getting a lot darker.
Yeah.
It's still not like a super dark game or anything, but it's like a darker Spider-Man game, and so the environment as you're playing in that is a lot more like it's nighttime when you're playing these missions, and it's raining all the time, and there's fog and stuff. So they play a lot with kind of weather to set some of the tone for the story. It is
Yeah.
a super, super great Spider-Man story. It's really good.
Yeah.
If you like Spider-Man, definitely play the game.
Yeah, I think I'm 40% through the game. I don't know how far I am in the actual story. That's like overall with collecting and everything like
Story
that.
counts the most towards that percentage. I think now I've finished the story and I've done a lot of the side stuff as I went. I'm
Yeah.
probably like 85% or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember because I don't look recently.
Yeah. And the sad thing is I'm that far in it, and I've only technically played it 2 times. But I've played them for very, very long, the 2 times that I played it.
But it's a game that's like that because you're just like, oh, I just want to swing around here and just like run through the city and do some things.
Yeah.
And, oh, hey, look, it's been 2 hours. What happened?
Yeah, and I need to finish it. And that's what's funny is my goal is to finish it before Red Dead comes out. And I know that sounds crazy. It's only like 24 days till Red Dead comes out, or 22. But it'll take me that long to finish it just because.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of
mostly
time,
just
play
been
time.
fooling around doing like the side missions and stuff like that. I've hardly done any of the story.
Yeah,
As soon as they give me a whole new section of side missions, it's
You'll
that's
get
it. That's all I
there
do.
because I did that at the start of the game, and then there was a point maybe 2/3 of the way through where I prioritized the story missions a lot more just because
Yeah.
I was way more into the story. Whereas at the first part, they're kind of easing you in. They're like, hey, here's these cool side things. Here's some more cool side things.
Mhm.
Hey, just have fun being Spider-Man. And then at a certain point, it starts to kick in a bit. And then towards the end, it really ramps up to where you're just like, I want to play the next mission. I gotta go. I want to do this.
yeah,
Plus, it's also just the mission types are like automatically more urgent. Like, oh, hey, someone's over on this corner of the city, Spider-Man. They're destroying things. Maybe you should go get them. Oh, but I want to go do this first and get some backpacks.
I don't
Like,
wanna
do that.
no, you want to go save the city.
It's all good. I got all the backpacks.
Yeah,
yeah. I got all the
That's what I
backpacks
did.
too. Yeah,
I got all of the tower thingies first
Yep.
because
Yeah.
those are really quick. Then I did like all the backpacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I've done a bunch of like the crimes, which there's like 3 or 4 types by the end of the game. There's a bunch of different crime types as you go through the game.
I
And
just
there's
unlocked the
the
little
bases.
labs on the top of the
Yeah.
buildings.
You have those. Those
That's
are
what I'm
actually
working
really
on.
fun because they kind of like
They
put
mix
a
it up.
twist on your traversal or an ability
Mhm.
or something that you have to use.
They took
it
away
in a
my
different
webs.
way.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
was fun.
they're one of my favorite ones that I did, which I still have a few that I haven't done, was where you have a thing where you hit a button and you can turn invisible, but when you're invisible, your webbing doesn't work. So you have to kind of initiate it at a certain part of the swing and then take it out. And it's like when you're close to a thing, I forget that one. It's like there's these goals that you have to be close to for when you're initiating it. So it's all just like putting an extra twist on swinging through the city. And a lot of them are doing kind of that. Like, here's one where you have to go spray some fish. So you have to do a lot of swinging over the water. That means you have to conserve your swings and swing close to the things that hang over so you can not lose your momentum and have wet Spider-Man.
Yeah. See,
The saddest Spider-Man.
I've done all the. I did all the backpacks. I did all the Oscorp things to unlock the entire map. I've took all pictures of all the.
Yeah, I did all the pictures.
Yeah, I did all the
locations.
pictures, all the locations.
I haven't done the hidden ones yet, though.
Yeah, the hidden ones aren't even like part of like a trophy or anything.
No, it's just extra.
Here you go, and I think you get a costume for them at the end.
Yeah, one that doesn't really do
But once
anything.
you hit max level, you get a suit gadget that will let you know when you're close to those.
That's good. I haven't found a suit that I really like yet. Like, I actually really like their white Spider-Man suit, but I've been trying
the
out.
first suit, like the advanced suit that you get a little bit in that has the white spider logo on it, I used a lot.
I
used
used
the original one a lot, and then I used the Iron Spider that's from.
Haven't got that one yet.
movies.
Yeah, I got that one. I guess when I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. It came with it.
And if you don't, like, it's maybe number 8 or 10 or something. It's maybe halfway
I have the
through
first
the list.
2 rows of suits.
Yeah.
I got.
It's like halfway.
How many suits are there to unlock?
20. Is it 30? Is it 30
I don't know.
suits? I don't remember.
There's a lot of suits, and then the DLC is going to be giving you more.
Yeah, there's
Can I wear
a
a paper
lot,
bag
a lot
like
of
they had in the other Spider-Man games? Paper bag on my head.
No,
I don't think so.
Street action Peter Parker.
Yeah.
The suit for getting 100% complete of all of the side content is Spidey in his boxer shorts.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
The suit.
They have it as a question mark until you beat the story mode, and then it's grayed out, and you see like his torso and kind of like the upper bit, so you can kind of tell what it is.
Yeah. The suit that I like to use all the time now is after I did the Black Cat thing and unlocked that black suit.
Cool suit.
Yeah, I just
Is that
think
the
it
one with
looks
the
really
gold,
cool.
the, like the yellow spider
I
on
think
it?
so. I think it's got the yellow
Yeah.
spider, if I remember right. I just.
Oh, I have that one. I haven't done any Black Cat stuff.
Is it pretty? Is it pretty easy to unlock to get the unlockables and stuff?
Yeah.
I haven't had
Like
any
me.
huge
Just
issues
run around
getting
and
them.
find them.
Yeah.
If you're going through and doing the side quests, then it's super easy.
Yeah.
Sounds like another 50 hours of my life gone. Boop.
It goes
No.
really
No, it
It's not a
shouldn't.
50-hour game.
No.
Not
Just like
even if
John,
you
I've only played a
100%
couple
it.
days.
Yeah.
If I
I'm
added
getting
in the time it would
I'm gonna
take
get
me to 100% it at the point I am now, I probably would be like maybe 25 hours.
Yeah, I
don't
was
know.
thinking
it doesn't have a
30
stat to
for-
tell you.
Yeah.
For the 100%ing it.
Yeah,
It just
that's what I would
depends
say.
on, how good you are at some of the like hideouts or something that might be a little trickier than some of the other things that's just collect the thing.
Well, I know exactly where I left off in the story. I have to go spend the night at the shelter. Or at the. That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, I know where you're at.
And you know, they're like, "Yeah, come here and stay." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm just going to keep going around and doing this." And it keeps going. No, you really want to go over here? And I'm like, "No, I have a feeling that that's where the story's going to go." And I don't want to go yet. So it was like,
There's a fun point in the story where there's actually a line of dialogue where I forget if you're Peter at the time or if you're Spider-Man at the time, but like, man, I haven't slept since that thing with Fisk, which is the very beginning.
yeah.
I'm on the second Shocker mission, I think. Haven't started it yet.
Oh yeah, the final Shocker battle is really good. I like the way they did it. It was a
A
fun
lot
one.
of, like the boss fights are really fun in that game, and if you're ever having trouble with one, be like, oh wait, play like Spider-Man and don't stand the ground. Or if you're ever having trouble in the game with any of the combat at all, you're probably trying to play it like Arkham Asylum. Don't.
Yeah, I just stay in the air the entire time.
Yeah.
The more you can stay in the air, the better. They tell you that in the game for a reason.
Yep.
And every so often when I was playing, I forgot that. I was like, oh, wait.
I
no,
always
need
forget
to
about my
swing.
special suit ability, too. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
right, I can just knock everybody out.
A lot
Yeah.
of those are really good. So some of the suits I want to get just to get the ability, even though I don't like the suit itself, but you can equip them on whatever suit you want, because there's some really good ones.
Yeah.
The Spider-Punk one with the guitar.
That was pretty
I've
good.
been rocking the noir suit.
That was not bad.
Yeah, that was not bad either.
It all just is like, okay, what is your favorite Spidey suit, really? Like,
Yeah.
if you are way into Spider-Man and have a favorite suit, they have a lot of them in there. They
Alien
don't have
costume.
everyone by any means, because Spider-Man has a bajillion suits, but
Do I get the symbiote alien costume? If
No.
that-
No.
then I'm out. Not
they
gonna buy it.
specifically he's specifically been asked that since the game came out, like the game director, and he said they wanted to do, that's one that you would want to actually put a lot of effort into doing it justice and, actually tying it into a story.
So it's not
Right.
like
rather than just, oh, it's an unlockable. Everybody be like, well, I feel kind of cheap now. That's just like, it's just a suit.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
But, yeah. I finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider mostly because I was far enough into it and I was like, I gotta finish it. That game, the more I played it, the more it bugged me and the more disappointed in it I got. It's not a bad game, but it's got so many small little decisions that they did in there that just really aggravate me. So it's like, hey, you have this game where you have a bunch of different outfits that you can unlock, and yet for a large portion of the game, they restrict which outfit you can wear because you're in a city. And you have to wear this one to interact with these type of people, and you have to wear this one to fool guards if you're trying to go into this part of the city, and like you can't wear anything else that you have. Like, really? That's not.
That's kind of
fair.
weird.
Like, come on. And being a big fan of the first two reboot games and having played through both of them completely twice, having a real good feel for it, I can tell this was made by kind of like the B team or just a different team who doesn't quite have 100% of the kind of feel of how these games should be made. Because it looks gorgeous. Like the graphics are great. You can't have, there's no kind of complaints there, but just level layout wise, it's just not quite as fun to go through as the previous two games, where they would have all sorts of neat little hidden areas, and just the way that it would loop, through a mission and back to here and do all that was a lot more interconnected than this one feel. Where it still does that, it's just not quite as good as the previous games. And all of the tombs that they have in there and the puzzles, there's a couple of pretty good ones, but most of them are like, that wasn't a bad puzzle, but the ones in the previous games were better. And so it's like, it's not a bad game, but it's just like for a third one in the trilogy, whereas you would hope that they would, make it be the best game and improve upon the previous ones. It didn't really do that. It kind of took a little bit of a step backwards in several areas. And just like the story wise, I didn't like the characters in this one. And some of the story beats was like, hey, that was like the previous game, or hey, that was like in the reboot. It's like, we already did this, which I guess is kind of hard to get away from in this sort of, hey, it's an action adventure game where we're going into tombs and running through jungles and stuff.
Right.
Okay, I guess it's kind of the same thing. Here's where the bad guys have a helicopter and they're shooting at you. Just like we did in the previous two games. In slightly different ways.
So you think I didn't finish the last game because I haven't gone back to it. I want to finish it, but for this one, it sounds like, based on your opinion, I should just wait a little bit till I finish the previous game and then get it.
Yeah, I would wait because like the first two are way better than this one. A terrible game, and like the first two is definitely worth playing, but it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm kind of disappointed in how they did this.
Yeah,
and it's like progression-wise in the previous two games, you would get different weapons as part of the story, and you get a couple of those that way this year, but then it's like, hey, if you want a shotgun, you have to buy it, or if you want this or that, you have to buy it. Shotgun, no, I think you actually did get a shotgun in a quest, but it's just like they added stores in there in this game, which it didn't really make it any better doing that. Rather than, I would have preferred having the crafting system like they had in the previous two games, especially Rise was kind of like the perfect mix of that, where it made hunting animals a thing that you actually cared about because you could get things you actually cared about, like crafting ammo pouches. Whereas in this game, the only reason you need those supplies is because you want to craft some of the outfit pieces you get, that you have to restore them to, because you get them out of some of the like crypts, as you get like, hey, here's these cool old ancient boots. If you want to use them, you have to like repair them. It's like, it's like, all right. It's just kind of like, sometimes felt like it was just going through the motions a little bit, or like, we have to have this because it's this Tomb Raider game, so we'll throw it in here, but we're not going to put our heart into it, or we just don't quite understand why it was so good in this game, so we're doing it, but we don't understand it enough to really get it to where it was just like really, really good. And all like the quote improvements or additions that they did that they were talking about beforehand, like, hey, you could put mud on yourself and hide in these walls. It shows up here and there, but it's not really a big deal that changes much of anything. It does a little bit. Or like one of the weird things was in the middle of the game, you've had this time to learn. Okay, if you put mud on yourself, you can hide here, and no one can see you while you're on these walls. And then they introduce an enemy that can see you.
Oh, there's always got to be an X factor,
but not with mud on. And then they're only there for like 1 or 2 encounters, and then they never show up for the rest of the game. I was like, well, why did you even add this if you're not going to use it? Because that would have been interesting. It would have made some of the stealthier sections like, okay, I have to maneuver around these guys in order to, get to this other guy, and that's kind of the fun of those sections. Or you could just, go in guns blazing like always, because they kind of let you play either way.
Right.
So it's kind of like, okay. Then there's like a cool character that they sort of built up, and then they just like, oh, hey, randomly, we're just going to shoot them for no reason because somehow some guys showed up in this room even though they weren't there, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Why? It's just like, nope, we got to kill her off so that it's a tragic story beat. And it just didn't play very well for me. I like the first 2 game stories a lot better than this one.
Yeah. That's too bad.
I like some of the things they were trying to do with this one. They just didn't quite get there to make it work 100% for me. Because making Lara feel responsible for a lot of things is a cool idea. They just didn't quite make it ring true for me for whatever reason. I'm not sure.
Does it feel like the end of the trilogy, or the end of the entire franchise?
I do really like
end of the entire franchise.
No, I think what they do smartly with it is they kind of sort of bring it at the end to Lara is where she was in like the original Tomb Raider games, where she's got her mansion and she's got a butler. Like a lot of that, I think, were just put into the final cutscene as a wink and a nod kind of a deal. But so they've got it to a point where okay, we finished our story here. Now we can go do whatever we want with it. So if they wanted to continue with this Lara and just do different things, they could. If they wanted to completely change it up again, they could do that. They can wait a while until they've got a great idea, or who knows. And with the way that it's selling, that'll probably be what'll happen. But Tomb Raider's too big of a franchise to go away forever.
Yeah, I would think.
But yeah, I think they'd be smart to give it a break and then it kind of percolate a bit and get a really good idea going before they try and start another game. Unless just somebody comes up and says, hey, I've got the best idea ever, then do that.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's got a lot of competition out there, so you got to really, really put your A game on, and they do a really great job production-wise, but there's some of the other things kind of fell back a little bit to where it's starting to get a little bit stale. So if they get a 4th game, if they were just going to do a 4th game like this out again, it'd be like, well, I don't know if I want that. Do you guys have any good ideas for it? But if they give it some time, I think they could come up with something good.
I'll wait till it comes on Game Pass.
There we go. I like that attitude.
I mean, it's still got some cool things about it. It's still got some of those like, hey, all sorts of destruction or whatever's happening. I mean, I got to run away from all the crazy things that, all the Uncharted games do that these ones have done since the reboot. It's got that. It's got the climbing. The climbing is actually really good in this one. They add a couple neat little twists on it that make it really fun when they use it, because it's not everywhere. So
yeah.
Cool. Finish that. Oh yeah, I have one more game on my list. It's so big, I almost forgot. Life is Strange 2, Episode 1. Came out this week, I guess. Yeah, I played that.
Oh, that quietly came out because I didn't even hear anything about it.
Yeah, there was no fanfare or anything about it.
There's a little bit of fanfare in the places that I look at, but it's not like something that's going to get TV commercials everywhere.
Well, no, that's not what I meant. I mean, I didn't even hear anything about it on Twitter or anything.
Reviews or anything.
No, I didn't either. I
put out a tweet on it. Look at my Twitter. Basically, I put out a tweet. It was like, I kind of it's all brand new characters. If they could, capture that magic again. And then I said I shouldn't have worried because it had me within the first couple minutes.
That's cool.
And it's like, if you played, I don't know if any of you guys played the Captain Spirit prequel free thingy.
I haven't yet. I have it downloaded, but I have not played it.
That one was okay, but this is way better than that was.
Yeah.
And we don't even know how that ties in really at this point, other than the two like brothers were kind of at the end of that in the neighbor's yard, maybe, but it's very vague. It doesn't really have anything to do with this at all, unless it ties into something later on.
Man, I just need to go back and finish the bits and pieces for Life is Strange.
But yeah, this is definitely a Life is Strange game because it's got really cool characters and it's got some fun, just
too many games to play.
Interactions with stuff that you can look at, and you're like, "Hey, this is really cool. I'm smiling," and then it pulls the rug out from under you, and you're like, "Oh crap! Why did you just do that to me?" Stomping on my heart, and making me cry, or just making me like angry at something. And it was like it does that multiple times in this first episode. The cool thing that's neat about this one, that's different from the first Life is Strange, is they've kind of made it a little bit more part of the real world because they reference real things like Minecraft and Lord of the Rings and a couple other things that you see in there. Whereas the first game didn't really do that.
Yeah.
I think there was maybe a couple things here or there, but it felt a little bit more kind of like fantasy story or something. Like it's sort of the real world, but it's set in this fake town. Whereas in this one, you start out, your house is in Seattle. So,
oh,
that exists. I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's
before.
a place. I know where that's at.
So yeah, you play as the older brother, and then you have the younger with you. I think you're 16 and he's 9, if I remember right from the game. So like you play through the first bit, and then a thing happens that's very bad, and then you're on kind of a road trip, except you're walking, sort of a deal. Kind of the setup for this game. So there's part of it you're in the woods, and bad things happen, and things kind of go along a different way than I would have expected. And I was like, oh, this was really cool. I want to see what happens next. Now I have to wait a few months for them to put out episode 2.
Yeah, I like the first one a lot. I definitely want to play the second one too. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't even realize it was coming out yet. I hadn't.
I mean, I had it marked down because I like Life is Strange so much. I was like, all right, end of September is Life is Strange 2. I will play the first episode, since you can just buy it on its own for, $8 or whatever it is, and see if I really, really like it, and then I'll get the rest of them. I'm definitely going to do that because it's really, really good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's also going to be interesting because it's going to be a lot different from the first one, whereas you're going on a trip through a bunch of different locations over time, or at least that's how they're setting it up. Whereas the first one was like, here's this town, and you're all doing different areas in this town, but you're going back to the school a lot, and you're going back to your house a lot.
Yeah.
So you have the same locations that you revisit. And this one doesn't look like it's going to do that, so... Just be interesting to see kind of what different kind of story they're going to tell.
Yeah, really. Well, that's cool.
There are superpowers in this one, but you cannot rewind time because you don't have superpowers as the playable character.
Oh.
And the powers are not time manipulation. It's like telekinesis.
Gotcha.
Your little brother has like telekinetic powers, doesn't realize it like actively until the very end of the episode. Like you see it before then, but he doesn't realize, oh hey, what am I doing? At the end it's like, what the crap is going on?
Cool.
So I'm expecting maybe in the future episode we'll get the learning your powers sequences like they had in the first Life is Strange. Who knows? I'm sure.
Robert, have you played anything else besides Spider-Man? Is that the only thing you played?
Just Spider-Man.
Well, I know you talked about it when he was talking about Spider-Man.
What is your favorite thing about Spider-Man so far?
So far, the web slinging, man. Flying around the city is just so good. And they make it in such a way that you can customize it so that it really fits like how you want to swing around. They make it so that you can change your direction on a dime. It just feels perfect. It's so fluid.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I liked getting the air tricks, which I use sometimes. They're just for extra flair. And I liked when you can upgrade kind of like the point launch. So if you land on like a thing on a rooftop or anything that you can perch on, and if you hit the jump button right as you get there,
it like explodes off.
It will launch you off. From the start, you can jump off of it, but you get an upgrade where it just super speed launches you off of it. And that was
the first things that I upgraded. Was all my web slinging abilities.
Swinging around. And then just learning the point of your swing to hit the button or to let go so that you can either like climb or get a bunch of speed while you're skimming the roadways and all that.
Yeah.
It's really just really fun to do.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Just get lost swinging.
Yeah. I just like fighting and throwing down a web grenade and just watch everybody go.
I like swinging around, going to wherever I'm going, and then right as I'm about to get there, it never failed to always a J. Jonah Jameson thing would come on, and I'd have to swing around while I'm listening to it because I didn't want to interrupt it.
Right, because I figured it'd be one of them things where you interrupt it and then it would start again, and then but it doesn't. It will start again sometimes. Sometime, but yeah, most of the time
if you have some of them in a queue, it will be pick a random one, and then sometimes it depends on what you've been doing. If it's one of the ones like it's related to crimes or something,
right?
So they'll have people call in and be like, "I saw Spider-Man ignore that crime. He's
bad." That's the one that cracks me up because it's like, yeah, I'm tired of going and how many banks get robbed in this town 5 times a day? I mean, 5 times in an hour. This is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Can't the cops do something about it?
By the end of the game, you'll be looking nostalgically back at those poor little simple thug crimes and be like, why can't I have those again?
Yeah.
They were so much easier and friendlier.
Yeah, they get tougher with the dragon guys, or they start to get a little tougher and a little tougher and a little tougher as you go.
Yeah, they definitely introduced different enemies and factions or enemy types and stuff as you go through the game that makes it harder to do, or just introduces another thing you have to watch out. Like this enemy, you can't just jump into them because they'll like throw you down, or you try to like web them and they'll just like pull you towards them, and so you have to avoid that, targeting that guy. But if you like hit him with a gadget and do all these things, it's a good way of like mixing up all the stuff that you have to do in that game and kind of getting you to use all of your arsenal.
Or they have a dumb shield, and I forget, and I'm getting this weird combo thing, and like, I start pounding on the guy. I'm like, wait a minute, he's got a shield. I've got to dunk underneath of him, harshing my groove.
Shield guys are nothing, man.
No, but when you're fighting with a big group of them, and you're popping back, and you're popping this guy, you're popping that guy, and then you turn around and go, bong! Oh crap, he's got a shield. Broke my combo up. It's not paying attention. Just
actually doesn't break your combo up. Maybe it's once you get the little upgrade for it, but there's the one where it's like you can take damage and it doesn't. But there's also, I don't know if it's by default, but if you actually hit the shield guys, it's not going to break your combo unless you just sit there still trying to do it. If you immediately move to something else, you'll still have your combo.
Yeah, I had never paid that much attention. Just I know when I'm fighting and all of a sudden I hear gong, I'm like, oh crap, I know what that was, and I wasn't paying attention to who I was hitting. So.
Yeah, I mean, they track the different levels, and I think the 50 times combo, I got that maybe a dozen times throughout the whole game. And you feel really good when you pull that off.
yeah, you do it. So, Eric, what have you been playing? Anything cool?
Oh, not much. I went to GameStop a couple weeks ago because I was, I think they had some sort of sale, and I was picking up a couple things to add to the backlog, which I later returned because I didn't have time for them. But Dead Cells was on sale for $20 on PS4, and I was like, oh yeah, this game. I heard good things about it.
Yep.
Like, I'm probably going to hate this because I think it's kind of like Dark Souls. I'll take it home.
Well, sort of.
I mean, well, it has, okay.
Tone-wise, maybe, but...
Yeah, I mean, you die, you lose most of your stuff, minus, a few things. But I cannot stop playing it. I really like it.
Yeah, I do too. I bought it on Switch. I really like it on the Switch.
Gotten pretty close, though. I now know... I played for like 5 or 6 hours, and I was like, you know what? I bet there's a better way to do this. And I looked online, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's what I need. So that's where I went, that direction. Things definitely improved for me.
Yeah.
So... able to take on most of the enemies and beat most of the bosses, and have I made it to the end? I made it to the last boss once, but he worked me over pretty good.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. It's good. It's easy to play. Before you know it, 2 hours have gone by. I'm like,
yeah.
Go to bed.
Yeah, I play it on the Switch, and I have it. I just lay in bed at night and play it. So.
There's a guy I know.
One run in that game that was about 2 hours once. It was ridiculous.
There's a guy I know that he's always complaining and playing on the Switch because he doesn't like the Joy-Cons. I'm like, then get a Pro controller.
Yeah,
I think it works great with the DualShock 4.
Joy-Cons work fine with me. There's some frame issues on it, but if you play it for... if you play it for about 4 straight hours, then the frame rate suffers. But if you save your game, back out of it, shut it down, and start it again, you're fine. I don't know. It's a weird bug that they haven't been able to fix yet.
I don't think that's a bug. That sounds like it's a memory thing.
Yeah.
The Switch has just got too much loaded into memory and needs to clear it. Which
it crashed me like once or twice. I cannot. I tried the shield for a little bit. Nope. Cannot use it. I found it to be. I would much rather have 2 weapons.
Yeah, I would too. I'm not much of a shield guy.
Get an explosive crossbow or the bow that freezes. Do my thing.
Get turrets.
Yes, I have the heavy turret.
Lots of turrets.
I have the heavy turret.
All of them are good.
Yeah. Got the spear, the whip. I like to use that for melee if I can. Broadsword is okay, the big sword, but if you miss, you can kind of screw yourself a little bit. But
whenever I was playing, I usually tried to lean towards the speed weapons.
That's what I like. Is the speed weapons.
I like anything I can drop with traps, and then stay away and just let it finish the job, and then get in there and clean it up. So, and that explosive crossbow though, that takes how much? It's a little bit slow to fire, but it does the job. It's fun. It's good times. I got some cool stuff, and I'm enjoying it. Ironically, I've been Raiden Project, which was in a PlayStation 1 I bought a couple weeks ago at Goodwill. Took it home. I could barely see at Goodwill. I looked at the PlayStation 1. I could barely see like under the tape that was like sealed the top of the disclet. I was like, I think that's Raiden Project. Took it home and it was, and it works. It works fine. For some reason, I was like, I should fire this up and play it. Never played it before. It's a your standard shmup. It's pretty crazy on the screen.
That's a pretty cool one.
It's decent. I played Aces of Luftwaffe Squadron because I got it for review for PS4. It's good. It's based on a mobile game that I actually played on my Kindle Fire a couple years ago. But this one, I would call this like a slow-paced shmup. You can't really take a lot of damage, but it's pretty easy. You can get through it without too much effort, and it's fine. It would work fine on any system. It would work great if your Switch was vertical too.
Oh yeah,
but it's fine. It's like I think it's $10 or $15. So if you're a fan, I recommend it. But that's it. Not too much. I'm getting ready to go on my big trip for a couple weeks, so I got my 3DS all packed up, and I haven't bought any new games or anything. But got a slog to the backlog. Maybe I'll finally finish Chrono Trigger, which I'm like 3/4 of the way through, and I haven't been back to it in a couple of years. So I should finish it, and I should also play Ocarina of Time for the first time.
Oh, cool. Well, good for you if you can good for you if you can remember. If you haven't played Chrono Trigger in a long time, if you can remember where you left off. Usually with games like that, it's like I go back to them after not playing them for a while and go.
And I remember this. I'm like, I was further than I ever made it on an emulated version of it, so I know that, and I know I used a guide and I bookmarked a spot on a guide because I got stuck in a couple places. But I was like, I really like Chrono Trigger, and it's one of those games I meant to go back and finish. I'm glad a couple of years ago I picked it up on the DS. It was well worth it.
Oh, cool.
Or, what else I'll probably play? Just Puzzles and Dragons on the plane, because ultimately I'm like, oh, this game's easy.
Yeah.
And then I just play it for a couple hours and I forget to play other stuff. But, yeah.
And
that is it, though. I'll have, hopefully the next podcast we do, I'll have a little bit more.
Yeah, when you get back from vacation, you'll have all kinds of things to talk about. That'll be
all vacation stuff and how I didn't play it at all.
Yeah.
I kept it in the case the entire time, because that's what happened last time.
Well, I mean, you're on vacation to go sightseeing. You're in another freaking country. I mean, don't...
Yeah, the one time I ever played, it was like, sitting a little bit of downtime in the hotel or on the plane.
Yeah, on the plane or in the hotel. I mean, most of the time, though, you're going to be out doing stuff. You're not there to play games, so...
I'm not? What?
Well, that's cool. Well, like I said at the top of the show, we didn't record Sunday because I actually got to go to the GDEX conference in Columbus, Ohio. It's a Midwest indie game convention. It's not so much... It's kind of like a mix of the East Coast Game Conference that they have in Raleigh, but better. If that makes any sense. It's very indie game centric as far as, how to get your game published, how to make a game, what goes into, making contacts and this and that and that and this. But they have a lot of, the indie games, game people there with their games that you can actually try out and meet the people that make them. The Mega Cats Studios guys were there, so I actually got to finally meet them face to face instead of talking to James over email all the time. So we stood and talked with him for a little while. They had all kinds of events going on all Saturday and Sunday were the big days. Friday was just a dev only convention, which are part of the convention, which I have no idea what went on in there. They really didn't say. It just said devs. That's all it said. So if you were a dev, you could get in. I'm sure it was more hands-on stuff.
Did you get crazy amounts of swag?
Oh no, it's not.
John, swag!
It's not a conference like that. I mean, because I mean, like literally, most of the games there were like 2 people that made the games.
I'm surprised like Limited Run wasn't there. They always like to go with those smaller things.
Yeah, this is more of an it's not like a PAX East or something like that. It's there was no. I mean, there was PS4s there was Xbox Ones there, but it was specifically there was no big developers there. They were all specifically indie game developers. And most of them were just small 1 or 2 person teams that were there locally. Some came from, I think the farthest one that I talked to was like Indiana or something like that, which really isn't even that far. Not from Columbus. Yeah, it's like 2 hours from Columbus. But there was how to get into voice acting. There was how to do create original soundtracks. There was dev talks about that. How to interact with publishers was one that I went, and one of them that I got to go to. That was with Rebecca Saltzman. I had no idea the description of the event or the talk sounded interesting, so I was like, yeah, I'd like to sit in and talk to that. She is actually the publisher. She owns the publishing company Finji, I think's how you say it, or Finji. They are doing Tunic, the Zelda Fox game. And I had no idea. They're also doing like Outlander, I think's one of the other games that they have a bunch of games. But her husband is the one who invented endless runners on mobile. He did the Cannon. What was it called? It was the first endless runner, Cannon Run or something like that.
I think Kitten Cannon. Like that's not
No, not Kitten Cannon. I can't remember the name of it now, but like they're publishing Tunic and Into the Woods and Overlands, and they've done a lot of other, Cannonbolt. That's it, Cannonbolt. Her husband made that game. It was a really interesting talk because she's like, you think most people think an indie team makes a game and it hits real big, and now they've just made a ton of money from it, and all this and that. And she goes,
"A ton of money."
She says it's usually exactly the opposite. She goes, maybe of all the games that we've done, we've made $1 million, but all that $1 million has went back into other projects, so you don't have tons of money to show for it. It was really, really interesting because she was telling people, her whole thing was, this is, I run a publishing company, so I get 200 emails a day of people wanting me to publish their games, and this is what I look for. And students were there taking notes. Oh, okay. Well, you don't want to, you want to have a demo. You want to have this. You want to have that. You want to have it was really, really interesting. Damian Hatfield was there from IGN. I didn't get to go to his. Event because about halfway through the show, Nikki was getting a migraine, and she was like, "We got to go," because it was just getting to us.
Was it pretty packed? Was there a lot of people?
Oh, well, this was Sunday, so it wasn't very packed at all. I mean, it was literally, I didn't have to stand in line to play anything. Tunic was there. I could actually have played that game, but that was the one that most people were bogarting. A lot of people were playing that one, but they had Night in the Woods, Overland, and Tunic there. I didn't get to play any of those because that's where everybody was at. But I did stand there and watch them play, and Tunic looks awesome. It looks really, really cool. Some of the games that I did get to play, 2 of my favorites were Hounds of Valor. One guy made it. It's a cel-shaded game with dogs with swords, and it's really, really cool. It's just an action game. It's kind of like it's almost like Zelda Wind Waker, where you're walking around. It's that behind the camera view, that third-person view, and you're just walking around in this land killing bad guys and going to the next adventure. It was a real limited demo, but man, it was really, really fun. The combos were really good. So he hopes to get that on consoles too, but it's definitely going to be a Steam game. But I put links in the thing for all in the show notes for all of them. The other one that I really liked was a game called Spacebound. It was made by one guy. It's literally like Pac-Man, but it's like Asteroids and Pac-Man. You have like a Pac-Man grid with a spaceship. While on the other end of the map, these little things are shooting out these little balls that travel through the map. So it's not ghosts. It's these little balls that'll kill you. And you can shoot them. You have an A button. Your A button shoots while you're collecting the other thing. And the more orbs you collect, the more ammo you have. And it gets more complicated as it goes. It's not just a square grid. Sometimes it'll be a circle. Sometimes it'll be this. Sometimes it'll be, an octagon or something. It was really, really cool. And like I said, it was just one guy that did it, But, yeah, it was really funny because there was, like, nobody there, and it was like, hey, you want to play this game? Sure, I absolutely want to play it. The other one that I played was called Luminous Plume. He kept calling it a RPG. There was RPG elements to it, but you never fought multiple people. You fought a boss it was a 2D boss fighting game. Then you leveled up and you went through a portal, you fought another boss, and you leveled up and you went through a portal and fought another boss. It was a really interesting game. It was fun, and it was very cartoon style, but it was, it had a full story. It had all this text to read and stuff like that, which I wasn't going to sit there reading the story. It was a little too much to read at a convention, but it was pretty cool. And the one game that I didn't get to play that I saw a lot of people playing was called Mage Quit. It's like a brawling arena game where you're wizards. It's over the top, kind of 8-bitty looking, and you have different islands, and you have 10 players. They had 10 people sitting there with 10 controllers. And you can play it online. It's a multiplayer game, online multiplayer game.
It looks like kind of a top-down, cel-shaded minimalist look to it.
But I tell you what, man, that game had so many people around it, just for the pure simple fact that they were all sitting there playing it, and they were just having a blast playing it on the couch. Just 10 people just lined up on the couch. So there was no way I was ever going to get in to play it, but it was like I stood there and watched them for a while. It looked really, really fun. It would be really, really cool with a bunch of friends. The Able Gamer people were there, and they actually had the Microsoft Adaptive Controller, the one for for handicap or disabled people. That thing is flipping awesome. Me and Nikki played Rocket League using a Wiimote nunchuck. That was the only thing. That was the only thing we used. Everything was on the buttons on the nunchuck, so you could steer, boost, jump, all on the nunchuck buttons. And then the pad was the jump button, so, if you needed to jump, you could just hit it real quick. But you had the back up, forward and back on the 2 triggers, and then jump on it. It was amazing, but it was so small, it's only, really that big.
Yeah. It's kind of like a system more than a controller. It's like you can customize it in a ton of different ways, and that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. I figured it was like some big honking thing. It's not.
It was like an arcade cabinet.
No, it's only about that big. I mean, it's not big at all. That's what surprised me the most was how small it was. But yeah, that was really interesting to play with. Just for the pure simple fact, I'm playing Rocket League with just a nunchuck, and that's all I'm playing it with, and it works, so. But it's a really, really cool event. There was a lot of other games there and a lot of other people, a lot of VR stuff, and things like that. Like I said, I saw the Mega Cats guys, so I went over and talked to them. And, of course, I'd played all their games. They gave me a Super NES cartridge of Little Medusa. He was just like, here, you can have it. He'd sent me the Genesis version, and I took it to Danny and dropped it off when I was running through so he could play it. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm getting that back. He's like, oh, no problem. Here you go. You can just have another one. Here, take this one. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Thanks. I guess one of the keynote speakers was Scott Johnson, who does the Frog Pants, TMS, the Instance podcast and stuff like that. He was there, so we watched his Art of World of Warcraft panel and got to meet him afterwards and talked with him for. We stood there and talked to him for like probably 20 minutes. It was finally at the point where like, yeah, we probably better go because we're just taking up way too much of your time. But yeah, it was a really good time. It's a really, really cool event. Like I said, it's kind of like East Coast Gaming Conference in Raleigh, for the pure simple fact that it's more dev oriented than gaming oriented. But this one's a well balance of both. So even if you're not someone who wants to get into making video games, you could still go to this conference if you enjoy indie games. And get a lot of hands-on time with, a lot of indie games and a lot of cool games that, you may find on Steam at some point. But it amazed me, like, how small some of these groups were. I mean, it was just like 2 people. It's like, or maybe 3. One was doing the art, one was doing the gameplay, one was doing the music. Like I said, the Valor, the Hounds of Valor, he was doing it all. And I was playing it just amazed that he made the entire game. I'm just like, I don't even understand how one person could do this. But it was a great game. I hope they all do well. But the ones that I played, especially, they were just super fun. Nikki really liked that Hounds of Valor too. Plus, I mean, it's dogs with swords. I mean,
yep, just like animals with weapons.
Polished enough to get it out, like. Plenty enough people who like dogs and swords.
Yeah.
They'll probably do well as long as it gets in front of enough eyeballs for people to find out about it.
I hope it does, because it was really, really cool. I mean, it was just it was that the art style was what grabbed me. And it played well. The controls were tight and it played well. I mean, the demo was just hack this monster, hack that monster, hack that monster. But still, you got the general feel of the game, and you had power-ups, and you could do these cool combo moves once you filled up your bar and and all that. So I hope they all do well. Especially, I hope that one really does well. I really want to play that game. I'd like to, and it would feel really cool on the Switch. It looked really awesome. So, but anyway, we'll get into the news. Not tons and tons of news. Some big stories, but
there's some big stories though, for sure.
Yeah, first story I put at the top was like 10 o'clock this morning. The people of Stardew Valley tweeted that the multiplayer update for the Nintendo Switch is now in Q&A with Nintendo.
Right.
So that means
it's so much harder for them to get than everywhere else.
I don't know. I wonder if maybe they just did the PC first and then seen how that went and then went to the next. I don't know.
That could be. That is where it originally started. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. But
it's not like it's a huge team.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so apparently he tweeted, said that it's quality assurance, which means the actual development of the update for the Switch is finished. It's just being played through to make sure there's no bugs or crashes. Excuse me. So I'm guessing within the next couple of weeks we will probably have the multiplayer experience for it. So me and the wife will be doing a lot of farming and and hanging out. So we'll actually be playing, because I have not played that in a long time. I've kind of been waiting on the multiplayer. Just to see what's like.
Stardew Valley at one point was like, hey, farming, that's cool. I'd rather go fishing. I want to get all the fish.
Yeah.
I definitely spent a lot of time in that game trying to get all of, who knows how many types. There's a ton of fish in that game.
There really is. There's a ton of them. I don't even know how many's in there. It's more than I can count. No PlayStation Experience convention this year. It kind of doesn't surprise me. I mean, now that Spider-Man's out, I don't know what other big-name games would be out this year that they would have to do a whole conference for. I mean, I guess they could do stuff
other than ones that we've already seen several times, so it would be kind of shooting themselves in the foot to do a whole event just for that.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, really, last year's wasn't really that big of a
it was
thing
anyway.
Back. Yeah, so
everybody was kind of halfway disappointed in last year anyway.
And speaking of no conference from Sony, Xbox is going to have a X018 global celebration at the Xbox Fan Fest in Mexico City, where apparently there will be some big announcements. They're saying they just say there's going to be first looks and surprises with all kinds of Xbox news. So who knows?
I wouldn't expect a ton from it.
I wouldn't really either.
It's like, hey, surprise! Everybody here gets an Xbox or something. Could count as that.
Yeah.
And
The last time they talked about new hardware surprises, it was here's a new Call of Duty bundle.
Yeah. Who knows? And maybe I don't see them making any big announcement for the next Xbox, but I mean, who knows?
Surprise!
It seems a little early
to me. That'd be a surprise. Well,
yeah, that would be
maybe
a surprise.
Not a big surprise, but a surprise.
Yeah, so that's November 10th, and that you can catch that on all your streaming places. They'll have that all over the place, I'm sure. It was announced a couple of weeks ago that PlayStation Now will add the ability to download PS4 and PS2 games. And the PS2 games are not actual PS2 games. They're the classic PS2 games that have been remastered for the PS4. A lot of people thought that some of the original PS2 games that were on there would be able to be downloaded and played on the PlayStation, but no PS3 support, of course.
It's a step in the right direction, but without that PS3 support,
I don't
buy in yet.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, but with the PS3 though, I'm betting that's more of a technical hurdle than
I'm sure it is.
To do it because it's just. Hi, I'm the PS3. I'm weird.
Yeah, where that
nothing else wants to play nice with me.
Yeah, where that hardware is so much different than the PlayStation 4. I could see that. There's, it would be nice, but at this late in the game, I don't see it happening anyway. But it's cool if you're a PlayStation Now player. I mean, the streaming service works fine, but to be able to download PlayStation 4 games, but there's not any of the really, really awesome PlayStation 4 games, super awesome new. They're several years old. It's still not any Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, but it's still better that you can download it.
Yeah, it is a whole lot better that you can download it. I mean, the streaming always worked good for me, but the point of being able to download it is a nice feature.
Yeah, and the streaming isn't going to work that well for everyone.
No.
I mean, it's enough for single player.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't play multiplayer on
it. They had
you probably wouldn't play like a Forza, not Forza, but like a racing game.
Yeah, like Gran Turismo
really
or something like that. Yeah.
You'd have enough delay that it'd just be really, really difficult to play.
Yeah, there was... they had a deal where if you got it within a certain amount of time, when they made the announcement, you could get it for the service for an entire year for $100, which is pretty cool because it's normally $10 a month. So, if you're one of those people who like, the streaming service and want to download the games and not actually have to worry about going and buying them. But like I said, it's still not quite, new games. It's newer games, but not the newest games. So.
It all just depends on what somebody already has their library or not.
Yep, that's very true. Sony announced the PlayStation Classic with 20 preloaded games on it. It's a small little PlayStation 1, just like the other micro consoles we got. The only games... Go ahead.
Is it just me, or did you guys see pretty negative reactions to this?
Oh, yeah, I did too.
Negative. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do not have the love for the PlayStation 1 like some people do. I was in college when the PlayStation 1 came up, so...
I never had a PS1.
No, so... I mean, we played the PS1 a lot, but if you have went back and played just the raw PlayStation 1 games, them games were really jaggy, and there's not a lot.
They don't hold up.
No, there's a lot of them that don't.
Because they're doing platformers like 3D, 2D/3D platformers, and you fire it up, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, same thing goes with the N64.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
absolutely. The first party ones.
It's the very early 3D where we have only 5 polygons to throw around at a time. So
yeah, and let's see how it goes. This 3D thing's kind of new, so we don't know. Yeah.
That being said,
there's still some
a
good
lot of
fun games. But
oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've announced the couple games they have announced. They announced what, Final Fantasy VII, right?
Let's see. It's Final Fantasy. Hang on, I'll read it. I'll read all 5 of them. Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms.
Pretty sure you can at least get 3 of those on PSN. Maybe not Jumping Flash.
You could get all of them. You can get all of them, but Jumping Flash.
And Jumping Flash is an early platformer, so FYI, like what we were talking about, that might be. And the controller doesn't have dual analog.
No, it's not a dual. It's not a dual stock.
PS1.
Well, which means, but you know,
the only game that you wouldn't be able to play on there is Ape Escape.
Yeah,
it's the only game that required it.
Yeah, all the rest of them didn't require it.
But if they come out and say they put Twisted Metal on there, or maybe Resident Evil, I'd be like, ooh, yeah, they're not going to look good, but I kind of want it for the nostalgia, even though I own those games on other systems.
Well, I mean, that's
if
my
it was
thing,
$50 or $60, I would have bought it just to put on my entertainment center.
Yeah, $100 is a lot to swallow for it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Mirage Leonard says they should put Legends of Dragoon on it. If they don't put Legends of Dragoon on it, then it's an injustice. Nice, yeah. That is an injustice. Or Paradise Eve. Yeah, that one's another one. Those two. If they don't have either one of those,
on there. Dang, there's a lot of options, and the people seem to be grumbling is that Sony said there's not going to be any sort of online store or any additional games coming to it once it comes out.
Well, no, why would there be? I mean, this is just like the NES Classic or the Super NES Classic. It's just specifically for nostalgia. Excuse me, nostalgia purposes.
I like to watch the people speculate about the N64 Mini too, and gripe about what games aren't on there.
Well, the thing that gets me with this is, one, I don't have the love for the PS1 like some other people do, and I get that. That's a generational thing. You know, I grew up when I was the age of some people who look back at this as our PlayStation 1 as nostalgic. I look back at the NES and the Genesis as nostalgic, you know, so
it's all about like an age sort of thing.
Yeah, it's all an age thing to me. I mean, there's some people that are older than me that love the PlayStation 1, and that's fine. I played the crap out of it when we had it. When the Dreamcast came along, I was happy to shove that PlayStation 1 aside and get Dreamcast, you know, until the PlayStation 2 came out, you know. But I don't know. I'm not interested in it at $100. You know, I bought the NES and the Super NES ones, and I literally never play them. I play them one time each, and they sit on my shelf as a little, you know, oh, this is really cool looking little decoration thing. But
they could make just a little figurine of the console, sell it for like $20-$30, and people would buy them.
I'd be fine with that.
Because that's what a lot of people are using them at this point anyway. Or
I could just buy a 3D printed one for a Raspberry Pi that looks exactly like that. But, you know, we won't go there either.
Could, if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on, you know, what games they end up putting on it. You know, they haven't said any but these 5.
They're pretty quiet about it. So
yeah, and I'm sure it's, you know, they got to maybe go to the publishers and say, we want to put this one, we want to put that one, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how any of that works. I don't know, though. It's just weird from Sony, who said not too long ago that people don't want to play backwards compatible or older games. They want newer, more, you know, better experiences now with the PlayStation 4 and above, that we're not really concerned with old stuff, to all of a sudden go, here's our classic console with old stuff on it. It's just kind of like, okay, sure, I guess. Meh. I mean, meh. I don't know. I don't care.
If this had come out at a similar time to like the NES Classic,
yeah, I think
then there might be a little bit more of a fever for it, because we haven't had the NES Classic and the SNES Classic and the Atari thing or whatever that was out.
Yeah,
Atari Flashback
to get onto this like train, so it's like, it doesn't feel special anymore. It's just like, hey, it's just a thing.
Yeah, it's just a thing. I don't know.
There'll be plenty of people who buy it.
Oh, sure.
Cool enough, but
and it won't be as hard to find as you know.
Probably
those other Nintendo
check on pre-orders. Are they available yet, or sold out? Or what?
I don't know. Well, I totally agree, Armored Aussie. Anyone who says that we don't want older games doesn't know the player base. I agree with that totally. And I could go back and I could find the interview where the president of Sony said, meh. nobody wants that. They want new, more exciting experiences. That's why we didn't do backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 3. That's why we're not really interested in too much backwards compatibility with other things other than these big hits. But that's the thing with the PlayStation 1 thing. I can go back and buy all those games on the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Vita, or the PlayStation 4 and have a better experience and a cheaper price than buying just one little console that has all that. But
to play devil's advocate, though,
play it.
Most of the money that they're getting is going to be from the PS4, the new games, not the old. Because there's just so many people. They've been super successful in selling so many consoles. That's why they're going to make their money.
Yep.
There's plenty of people who do want to play old games, but I would say that the majority don't. Because either they don't care, or they're kids and they don't know anything about the old games and they're playing the new things, which will eventually become their old games in 20 years, right? So
it could be. I mean,
it's all a matter of perspective and what demographic you fall into.
Perspective and age.
Yeah,
ruining it. Get off my lawn.
Dang kids, no respect these days. Hey, call me when they come out with the GameCube Mini and the Saturn Mini. Call me. I will throw money and I will take both those.
Can I get?
I would not even look twice at a Saturn Mini.
Oh, you're missing out. You are missing.
I had a Saturn.
One.
I had a Saturn.
John, what if they put? What if they put some of the expensive games on that Saturn Mini? The really expensive ones. I'd be like, here, just take my money. I don't care.
Oh yeah. If there's some really, really good Saturn games out there that a lot of people never played or never heard of that are fan-friggin-tastic.
And they may not look the best, they may not age the best, but this might be the only opportunity for someone who might slightly be interested in to play them.
They will never make a Saturn Mini. They will use the Sega Ages on the Switch for that kind of stuff. Which I bought Lightning Force, and that game is freaking fantastic on the Switch. It is awesome.
Is it still pretty? It's for Saturn originally, right?
No, it's for the Genesis.
Genesis? Okay.
But it has a ship that was only available in the Saturn version in it. M2 did it, so that's it. Yeah.
How much does a physical copy go for if you were to pick it up complete for Genesis?
Like $75.
Okay, that's a good example of getting it. I'm sure it was only like $15 or $20.
What, the game? It was $7.
$7. There you go. Sign me up.
$7. $7.
I'm sure there's going to be an N64 Mini, and I am sure there'll be some sort of game.
Yes, Mirage, put Shining Force 3 on the Saturn Mini, but I already have it on the Saturn. I own that game.
An actual size GameCube, but instead of it being a thing that plays games, I want it to be the lunchbox, so we can come full circle.
Lunchbox. So you can just use.
So you can take it to work. You can take it to work and go, look at my lunchbox. Dude, it looks like a GameCube.
The GameCube was really easy to transport because of that silly handle. People make fun of it, but
it really was.
I thought it was.
I was afraid to carry it by then.
Oh, I had it by that all the time.
Fight off other gamers or somebody.
Well, you could. That thing was strong enough. You could have dropped that sucker down a flight of steps and it wouldn't break. So you could totally slam somebody in the head with it.
GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, we would do that all the time. I'd take it over to a friend's house. It was a bag full of games and controllers, and just carrying the GameCube, just with that little stupid handle on the back of it that we all thought, well, that's weird. But then once you got to moving it around, you're like, you know what? That's pretty handy.
I mean, I remember my friend with PS2, PS1 traveling around with that, and then I remember the guy I knew that had the OG Xbox bag. Like, dang, it's like a laptop briefcase.
Yeah, and it was about as heavy as a ton of bricks when you were carrying it around too.
It weighs the size of a small TV.
I tell you what, though, I have the HDMI adapter for the GameCube, and you talk about games that still hold up when you play them through HD is the GameCube. I mean, those games still look fantastic. Luigi's Mansion, Mario Sunshine, the Phantasy Star, the Pokemon, they all still look. Yeah, Wind Waker. Yeah, it still looks awesome.
I bet Resident Evil 4 looks great too.
I have that on there, but I haven't tried it yet. I tried
playing it recently off on the PS2, connected to a 70-inch TV through AV. Let me tell you. I was like,
yeah, I can only imagine.
What is this?
Yeah. I think this is a blurry thing coming at me, but I can't tell what it is.
Yeah, but then other games like Burnout, like I threw in like Burnout 3, and I think maybe we threw in like Twisted Metal Black. Those looked okay. You know, I was like, all right, maybe it's just something with the graphics and the polygon.
Oh, the one thing they had at GDEX that I really... Oh, I own 2 PVMs, Mirage. I still have 2 tube TVs. I've got a 14-inch here. I've got a 27-inch there. And I have a 35-inch Sony regular home television back in the back that is just here because it's here. So, yeah, I still have 2 TVs to play my old stuff on. But the GameCube with HDMI, I'm telling you, it's something. It blows me away going back and playing those games with it.
Or you can always get the component cables. Oh wait, HDMI is probably a better deal.
Oh yeah, I mean the component cables are $300. The HDMI is $170. You can get them as cheap as $75 now. So $75. It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. But anyway, let's go on. Talk about TellTale Games closing. I guess you could call it closing. They've only got about...
definitely call it closing.
Yeah.
There's no ambiguity. They are dead.
They only got they have 25 people staying on as a skeleton crew. I had
The only reason is because they have to fulfill a contract with Netflix.
Right. And I don't know, what is that, fulfill a contract with Netflix? I know nothing about that.
Minecraft story mode.
Oh, I had no idea that was anything with Netflix. That's weird. I had no idea.
Yeah. This whole thing unfolded over several days last week. And every time something new came out, I was just like,
it was a
mess. I want to
mess.
go find the management and punch them in the face for being such jerk people. And just the way they handled the whole thing is just insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It really was. It was just... And I hate that because it's like, I love pretty much all the TellTale games. I haven't played the Game of Thrones one because I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I don't know anything about it.
It was pretty buggy.
It's pretty buggy. That's what I'd heard.
Yeah,
I played a little bit of it.
I'd heard rumors that there was some company that was going to fund the rest of the Walking Dead final season, but I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: they have the whole closing was to come like we're going to close. All that came out, and then it's like, what's going to happen to The Walking Dead? Because episode 2 of the final season's coming out the following Tuesday or what have you. And then after that, at some point, the TellTale official account or whoever was putting out hey, we're looking into finishing this game. We have some interest from stuff. Meanwhile, everybody's yelling at them, rightfully so, for saying, hey, maybe save your employees first.
Right.
Then worry about saying we can finish this game, because who makes the game? You could put out some really crappy game that you make with 5 people, and no one's going to like it because it's going to be trash, and nobody wants that.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing.
People who make the games, you don't just as a brand, just magically make them appear,
Well, and that's one of the things that really aggravated me on Twitter was there's a lot of people that were crying on, oh, they're not going to finish this game. They're not going to finish. Why? We're not going to get this game. We're not going to. Sure, I'm disappointed, but these people are out of a job with zero money, no severance pay, just yanked
bye, don't come to work tomorrow.
Yeah, no severance pay, just yanked right out from underneath their carpet yanked right out from underneath their feet. I mean,
and they live in, I think TellTale's in the San Francisco area.
I think so. I don't remember off the top.
I don't even think the employees knew about it. It was just
they didn't know about it till pretty much it happened, and that's just sucks so bad. That's terrible. This is definitely one of the bigger closings that we've had in video game history, even I would say, of companies, just because of how insane it is, and that a big company that's seemingly successful was so mismanaged that they have to cancel a game halfway through, and they're not even going to bother completing it because they can't. We're done. We cannot finish it.
Yeah, and I know somebody personally that used to work for them. I'm not going to name his name or anything. He worked in community management. Great guy, but he got let go maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit more than that, and he definitely had. He said a few things about working there, and then after all this happened, I'm dude, I'm so glad you got out when you did, just because.
Yeah, there's
coming out.
There's been rumors about stuff for many years about Telltale just not being managed super well. I think part of it is they got some success that they then spun into some more success and just expanded super quickly, trying to just keep ahead of the curve and keep making money. But then they also did a ton of licensed properties, which meant a lot of money's going out the door to pay for all those licenses.
Yep.
And then just working people too hard, and it just wasn't something they were able to sustain, and finally had enough things that it just collapsed.
Yeah, and I hate that. I mean, I hate
tried
that.
to do too much. They weren't reinvesting in their own company, you know.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I had played some of their other stuff, like Sam and Max and the Back to the Future game. I think both of those are free on PlayStation
That's
Plus.
kind of like
They were for a while.
before. It's like Telltale before and after The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Their
Before
games
The
are
Walking
very
Dead, they had some
different
other stuff.
after that, and they were very much straight up classic adventure game type
Yeah.
stuff before that, for the most part.
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
And
yeah.
most of those were not that good. The Sam and Max
Oh, yeah, I
ones
forgot
were
about
all right.
Jurassic
I've got most of those, but the licensed ones before that were not very
Yeah,
good.
Back to the Future was okay. I know a lot of people
Yeah.
liked it. It was all right.
The
Jurassic
first
Park
episode was good.
Jurassic Park
Yeah,
was
after that
not that
wasn't.
great. But yeah, I think I have all the Sam and Max on. Got them on a Steam sale years and years and
Yeah.
years ago. For
Probably pretty
And if-
entertaining, especially
If you
like the
don't
stuff from Sam and Max
mind
from the
something
90s.
that's like find and click all the things, get all the weird hidden things, and then figure out the weird convoluted way that they have them put together, that is the old style of point and click adventure
It's a
games.
true adventure game.
That's what you'll get. 'Cause
You
that's
mean-
what those games are.
You mean point and click adventure games like what's in this book that says point and click
Yes.
adventure games that I got? Yeah,
Like
they
that.
talk about Sam and Max a lot in this book. Actually, this book is
Well, it's like
great.
the Telltale ones are definitely pulling the same vibes from the original Sam and Max games. They did a
Yeah.
good job of doing that. But if that's not if you're playing like all the post Walking Dead type style of games and then want to go back to that and not realizing
Yeah.
what you're getting into, you'll be like, oh, this is not what I was expecting.
I know they announced not too long ago that a couple weeks ago, before they announced the closure, that Batman was coming. The second volume of Batman was coming to the Switch digitally. Now I don't even know if it will come digitally or
I would
not.
say
No.
So
Seeing as how they pulled Walking Dead final season from sale everywhere,
yeah,
and that's their current thing, I doubt they're going to get a port. If
Yeah.
it wasn't done and out released already, there's no way.
yeah, and that kind of sad. That's kind of sad because
They
I like
canceled everything else, like Wolf Among Us season 2.
Yeah,
which
that made
makes
me
kinda
really sad.
But if it's such a terrible place to work, like it sounds like it was, and if you're going to treat your employees that poorly by just not telling them anything till the last second, because there were like official communications from them about things right up until the hammer dropped on them. And like nobody knew anything at all except for some of the people at the very, very top. And if you don't pay severance to your employees at the very least, that's terrible. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it stinks. Hopefully, hopefully most of those people will land on their
Yeah.
feet somewhere. I hate it though because I really enjoyed the Telltale games. So, guess I need to go buy the Batman game on Xbox or something like that so I can at least finish that season. I was
Well,
waiting
that
on.
one's kinda funny too, is it's like been a downhill trend of they had a lot of games that were getting a bunch of attention,
Mhm.
and then it went down a little bit, and then the first season of Batman kind of got some attention. Second season, it was kind of like nobody even really paid that
Yeah.
much attention to it when it came out. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot.
I held off on it because I played it on Xbox, but I also played it on Switch, and I was waiting to go ahead and maybe get a copy of it on Switch. But now that looks like that is not going to happen. So it's time for me to go get it on Xbox before it disappears. So at least you can get those physically, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a backup.
Yeah. So
And
And-
worst comes to worst, I mean, I was getting for 360, PS3, whatever.
Yeah.
They still have them for last gen. They're pretty cheap disc only games too. I've seen.
yeah, they're like
for
$20
gen
or
games.
or less. So. And last but not least, they have an extended Fortnite crossplay beta launch for the PS4 that is going on
Ooh.
right now.
We did it,
Sign me
guys.
I've actually never played Fortnite.
But they for weeks, Sony is
Months.
nope, we're not doing crossplay. We don't need crossplay. it's
Well,
a
they
better
were saying
experience
at one
here.
point that they were looking at it, but if they do anything, they would have to be something that's works for the Sony platform and works for everything. We can't just do
They
one
said they
thing for
hoped
Fortnite
they
forever
were able to
or-
come up with something that everyone would be okay with.
If you
whatever that would
can't
be.
see me right now, I'm rolling my eyes so far back in my head that they flip back around and they're forward again. Because that is
What
such...
I think it really is that the kind of fervor around that died down and almost went away. So now they're like, "Hey, we can bring this back up and get some positive
Yeah.
spin on it.
And
Yay!
now we look
make
like
more money."
heroes. Now you just to me, they're like, ah, you were jerks. It's like-
Now
Right.
we'll see if they do this beta for like a little bit and then start just bringing it to everything else, then that will make more sense. But if it just
Yeah.
sits here on Fortnite for a while, like, okay, we know it's really just because Fortnite was the giant game and you're hoping nobody pays attention to it.
Well, Lord knows Bethesda's probably going to pitch a fit because they have been wanting crossplay for Fallout 76 the whole time, and Sony keeps saying no, no, no. So that'll be the next one that everybody will probably start ringing the bell about. We'll see, though. But I mean,
They're also not launching it on Steam, so that game is already
yeah.
far off in the distance. If it ever comes to Steam and I need something to play and I'm in the mood for a Fallout game at the time, then maybe I'll play it. Otherwise, probably never going to play that game.
I have mine pre-ordered and paid for.
Well,
And
I'm in
I
different.
just pre-ordered mine.
If I
kinda-
lived in the area like you, I would totally want to play
Yeah.
that game because like, hey, here's all this cool stuff that I know.
they
I'm
actually...
kind of
Yeah.
stuck between maybe get on PS4 or PC, depending who I want to play with.
They had a big... They actually... I didn't even know about it, and they've had a big play test of the game at the Greenbrier here in West Virginia this weekend. I don't know if it was invite only. I don't know anything about it. They just started posting pictures just out of the blue. I'm like, wait a minute. And they were actually... The Bethesda people were actually here in town... I don't know, the first of the month for the Mothman Festival.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was around the 12th. So, yeah, so, there's a lot of hype around that game, especially around here. So, but, yeah, so cross-night or four-play cross-platform, finally, on PlayStation 4. And I know a lot of people are very excited about it because they actually unlocked their accounts so they could play it on Switch now.
I believe they're even working on a way. Well, Epic is working on a way to merge your accounts if you had to create a new account,
Yeah.
which would be really awesome. So
I'm sure they would do something like that. I wouldn't see why not. Which, a lot of people just didn't play it on Switch, or they made another account, like you said. But it should be pretty easy, I would think, for Epic to merge accounts if needed. But so everybody got their It was what was funny was a lot of people on Twitter that I follow immediately went, "Hey, crossplay's available. I'm going to log into my Switch so I can unlock." Yes, everybody did that. But yep. So
Going back to Fallout for a second, they did announce when the beta dates are.
yeah, I forgot to put that in the notes. It's like
And hey, guess what? If you want to play Red Dead, you're not going to be playing Fallout 76 beta.
no,
It's like 2 days before Red Dead comes out or something like that for Xbox, maybe. I forget. It's a couple days.
It's Xbox first, and then 7 days later
Yeah.
it's PlayStation.
So either slightly before or slightly after Red Dead comes out.
Yeah, I'll play it. I'll play it a couple days, or I'll play it once or twice. I'm not going to play a lot of it in beta anyway because I
Yeah.
want to wait till it comes out. Even though that stuff will carry over to the main game, but still, I don't want to play a ton of it till it comes out because I got Red Dead to play. So
And maybe they'll fix some of the bugs that will be in there by the time it comes out.
oh yeah,
Later.
I'm totally
Those aren't
not
bugs, those are
surprised. by-
features.
Yeah, I'm totally
Yeah.
would not be surprised.
We all got a pre-order and we all getting on PS4. Or
I've got it on
I have it
PS4.
pre-ordered on PS4.
Nathaniel, what are you getting on?
What?
You gonna get
What
Red
am I
Dead?
getting what on? Red Dead?
Red
I'll
Dead.
get it on my PS4 because that's the only thing I have that it's coming to.
It's coming to PC eventually, right?
They've
Never said anything about PC at all.
I'm hoping, everyone's kind of fingers crossed that, they'll do the same thing with GTA 5 did and come out like a year later, but they haven't said anything.
Yeah, I have no idea. Nobody said anything about it, so I'm voting.
Honestly, it
probably
makes me
not.
sad, but that makes more sense than putting it out now because that injects some more excitement into the game and it can get the online stuff rolling. some
Yeah,
more, like
that's what I was
did
gonna
with
say.
GTA 5 and
Mhm.
continually do that, having that all the platforms to go to. But just waiting to put it out on PC for a year, it kind of sucks. But it also is like, oh hey, remember that Red Dead game? We're talking about it again, so it just keeps it in
Right.
people's minds.
Yep. All right. Well, that's all I've got. So, anything else? Is there anything I missed?
I
Or
don't think so.
No, I think you got it.
all right, cool. Well, I know Eric's going to be gone for 2 weeks. I'm going the first week of November for a weekend, so to Florida. So I know we've at least got one more show this month. At least in 2 weeks, we'll probably get back on the weekend thing. It won't be a weird Wednesday show unless some strange convention happens that I got last minute tickets to. That was the thing. It was like, I really appreciate the GDEX people giving us press passes. You know, me and the wife got in. No, didn't have to pay a dime. We just drove up there, paid for parking, got in. But they emailed me the convention tickets. The convention started at 10 o'clock. They emailed me at 11:45 Saturday. It's like by the time.
How helpful.
Well, yeah, it's like by the time I would have, I was at the vet with the cat, so it was like, okay, well, actually, by the time I get home, pick up the cat, go home, take a shower, the wife takes a shower, I go fill up the car with gas, it's going to be 2 o'clock, and by the time I get there, there's 1 hour left of the show, so it's like, we'll just go Sunday. Which actually it worked out better because it was very quiet on Sunday, and I kind of liked that the crowd was very small, so you really got to talk to a lot of people, that you probably wouldn't have got to talk to on Saturday because it was so busy Saturday. But anyway, so if nothing strange like that happens again, we should have a regular show in 2 weeks. So, but yeah. So all right. Well, the cool multi-stream thing kind of worked real well once we figure out the chat thing for everybody to see. I mean, we had some Mixer people, we had some YouTube people, we had some Twitch people. So I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. So no matter where you want to get your streaming from, if you're like, I don't like Twitch, well, you don't have to get it on Twitch anymore. You can get it on YouTube, or you can get it on. The nice thing that I like about it is I don't have to upload the video to YouTube when I'm done because it's already there.
True story.
Hashtag lazy.
One last step. All right, guys. Well, it's getting on midnight, so we're going to get off here so we can get to bed because some of us got to work in the morning. So.
I gotta wake up in 5 hours.
Yeah, I got to wake up in 6. So all right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for listening, and we'll catch you all next time.
See you next time.
See you later.